So I am live. I will say this. This is the last time I address this, and this time around it will be kind of short. So I got two outsiders' perspective to make me realize I messed up. Number one, left red, blue, and window to our mind chat. Hopefully one day he forgets and give me a second chance. Number two said I was too shitty and made out uh big things. I was really shitty. With that being said, I stand by my decision and what I've said. Now I will admit and I will say I'm sorry, DC, that I made it so public out of transparency. I should have mentioned publicly the decision, but not any of the details. That would have been far better. Before we move on to the intro, let's address two comments that were left on the previous Red Blue. And these comments, along with the two perspective, made me realize I was kind of wrong in my approach. So let's screen both comments. It won't take too long. There we go. So I feel like the first comment comes from a place of care, and this is why I liked and thumbs up that comment there. Now, the other comment, I'm glad that person was lurking around. Sadly, because I was very mean in last week stream, or I should say in Tuesday stream, because I was very, very mean. Well, he was also very mean. And this is kind of sad. So I did reply to both comments. There's one comment I did like, the other I didn't really like because of the end. Um so yeah. I am sorry, DC. I feel like I did bully you and I didn't realize it. It's really because of someone perspective, an outsider perspective, that I realized, dang, I messed up. So again, I am sorry, DC. I still stand by what I said, but maybe not on the approach or the reveal. Anyway, enough of drama shenanigans. We will talk about James Bond right after the intro.
Not funny. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Not funny.
So this is the Red Blue number 110. And yeah, I will say this. Because I'm alone, from now on and the rest of the season, I do think it will be quick, it will be short and sweet. So I gotta say something. Today, this morning, I did go see um Mad Max, or I should say Furiosa in Mad Max Saga. I cannot wait to talk about that, and hopefully I won't be alone, but if I am, I will be. That was my decision, and I stand by it. Now, we are talking about The Man with the Golden Gun in 1974, and we will also talk about The Spy Who Loved Me, 1977. Now, I will admit something. Um, I keep yapping about freaking media literacy, but I will admit something. It's only when I'm very invested and when I really care about a movie that I'm more able to kind of read in between the lines. And maybe I should always turn on the lens. I should always analyze every single thing. maybe I should learn about doing it more often. But again, when I do care, when I do like something, I dive deep into it. And I mentioned that mainly because I will be blunt and honest. I I wasn't that engaged. I look, I like James Bond, right? But there's always that kind of struggle with me and older movies where I need flashy stuff to pay attention, to enjoy, to care. And James Bond has that to offer, but just because it's the old movie, I will like just shut off my brain. It's just not for me, the older movies. Um so here's my proper review of The Man with the Golden Gun. And even if I like this movie, I didn't engage in a way where there's the in-depth analysis or where, oh, I will mark down every single team or every single meaning behind James Bond and such, because I struggle doing that with older movies. So anyway, let's start off with my dislike. My first issue would be feels stupid that Bond would meet the villain employer pretending to be the villain, since villain and employer most likely met prior, so it's like asking to walk into a trap. And indeed, that was a goddamn trap. But hey, who am I to question the plot when the plot is stupid, right? So maybe I just shot myself in the foot. Maybe there was a message. Maybe that was part of the team. Maybe that was a parody because Scream does a lot of parody that I hated because I didn't necessarily understood. Civil War, a 2024 movie, does a similar thing where I ate every single character, but I didn't necessarily understood them before a chat with Cole. Um, so yeah, my second issue would be plot convenience. The other boat blocking the river, giving Bond time to escape. Now, these were my only two issues. And again, I said it. Maybe this week will be very, very brief. It's simple. I think the future of the Red Blue will be short and sweet if there's no guests such as right now. Hell, maybe guests planned on opting in later, but they won't really have the time. Sad to say, but they won't have the time. Anyway, um, let's go over the likes because again, it's a James Bond movie, and most of the time, I do like James Bond. So the action was cool, the music, Money Penny was entertaining, the action was entertaining, the interrogation was cool, funny one-liner as usual, but it's just typical James Bond. More action and good music. Um, the sword fight added something new. Maybe I have really fish memory. Maybe I forgot, but I do think this was the first sword fight in a James Bond movie up to that point in the franchise in 1974. And that was cool. If it was the second time, I'd say this time around is better than the first one because the first one I didn't notice or realized that was the first one. Um, Bond kicking the other guy faster than said guy could react was cool. The big fight sequence was entertaining, the music more cool one liner, but this time around that's from the villain. James was entertaining, the girl's death was cool, and the villain was entertaining. The car chase, the music, the villain was entertaining, the action, the good night one liner again. Now, I gotta say two things I didn't note. Number one, I feel like this Bond girl this week, even if she was clumsy, she was more than just eye candy. She did participate into ending that entire story and that movie. I feel like she was more than just a pretty girl. And I think it's the first time in the James Bond franchise to this point where we get that kind of character. Actually, never mind. We had a Bond girl in Live and Let Die that did impact the plot a lot. But I'd say maybe in The Man with the Golden Gun, the Bond girl was slightly better. It's hard to tell. Now, there's something else I do remember about The Man with the Golden Gun, but I didn't note it for some reason. The Man with the Golden Gun is actually a perfect reflection of James Bond, where he is some kind of mercenary, but instead of working for the government like James Bond, he is working for himself and others. He just makes money, just like James Bond. And they enjoy deleting others. So that was kind of cool to see that, oh, he is like James Bond, but he is a bad guy. But in his story, it's James Bond, the bad guy. That's the funny part of The Man with the Golden Gun. Now, I don't have much more to say about The Man with the Golden Gun. So I will just give the score. It's a 9.5 out of 10 for me. And so far in the Bond franchise, I did give another 9.5 with Thunderball. I do think Thunderball was slightly superior, and the reason is I remember a big and really cool underwater fight we had, and outside of the big shootout, the big fight between Bond and the man with the golden gun, outside of that, I don't think I will remember much about this movie. Yes, there was like a boat sequence, but it's nowhere near as good as the underwater war in Thunderball. Or L, the shark bat, where Bond was like trying to escape a shark, and where Bond basically pushed someone a pool, and that someone got ripped apart by a shark. So I do think Thunderball was better than The Man with the Golden Gun, but The Man with the Golden Gun is still a very enjoyable Bond movie. I see myself rewatching it in the future, like most of the Bond movies, to be honest. Even the worst ones, like on Her Majesty's Secret Service, that one, well, actually, maybe not that one. Maybe that's the one exception. It's not because it's bad, it's because I thought that was a very average one. But anyway, um, I think that closes off the first topic for today. Topic number 2. The Spy Who Loved Me, 1977. And now I will kind of copy paste what I said in my kind of intro of The Man with the Golden Gun. I didn't analyze in depth The Spy Who Loved Me, because I do struggle with older movies. Even if they are Bond movies that I enjoy, it's still kind of hard for me to get into it and to be like, I want to see the themes, I want to see the characters, I want to fully experience the movie. I just can't with older movies. Even if it's a Bond movie that I will most likely enjoy and be entertained, I just cannot do it. Now, I know this will change with later Bond movies, like the Daniel Craig era, the Pierce Brosnan era. I'm sure this will also change because these two era are the eras of my childhood. in my teenager years. So yeah, um, as a kid, I did see some of the older Bonds, but not all of them, and I don't have the same kind of attachment I had with the older ones because the older ones I never played a video game about these. The other ones I actually watched them when I was older, so it's not the same thing. When you're 5 years old, I think I was 5 years old or 6 years old, watching my first Bond movie, and I remember my first Bond movie was GoldenEye, and I was 5 or 6 years old. Easy, easy peasy. Um, and then that was like all of the other Pierce Brosnan movies. And then I was a bit older when Casino Royale came out, and when Kingdom of Solace came out, and I was a goddamn teenager when Skyfall and the others from Craig era came out. Hell, I was a young adult when Spectre came out. I was a very stupid young adult. Now I'm a very stupid adult. Anyway, The Spy Who Loved Me, 1977. So I gotta say, this Bond movie is my second least favorite so far. And we are 10 movies into the franchise. Um, my first issue would be people cannot aim in the skiing sequence. It was laughable, and I gotta say, among all of the skiing sequence we got so far, I'm sure that's like the second or the third one so far in the franchise. That was probably the worst one. I feel like it was so fake. Did they really went to ski? Now, I won't place it in my issues because maybe I'm wrong and it's just a camera. I don't know what went wrong there, but I feel like that was the worst skiing sequence. Um, Now next up would be Bond plot armor when he's kissing the girl and someone misses him. Oh yeah, like they're moving around and pew, I missed Bond. Are you kidding me? Really? Are you kidding me? Movie, come on. I don't want Bond to die, but I don't want this stupidity in front of my eyes. I feel like in the Bond franchise so far, so many times around, Bond had plot armor. Sometimes it did work, others it didn't. And I feel like it's one of these times where I'm laughing at you, movie, and not for the good reasons. Um, Next up would be plot armor on underwater Bond since all enemies are made incompetent. Um, Underwater Bond. So I will be honest. I have this in my notes, but I can't freaking remember what I referred to. Apparently, there was a sequence where a bunch of minions or bad guys were stupid for Bond to escape. That's my guess. But The Spy Will Love Me, I just cannot remember you, movie. Oh, actually, I do. I think I mixed up both Bond Girl, the one from The Man with the Golden Gun and the one from The Spy Who Loved Me. I'm ashamed now. I just realized that's the Bond movie where the the spy that works with Bond realized Bond deleted someone she cared about, and after the mission she wants to delete Bond. Actually, this Bond girl is really good. So I take back what I said about the Bond girl and the man with the golden gun because I mixed up both. So I will be honest. On this marathon, when I do these reviews, I watch these movies. like back to back. And most of the time, I do it a lot in advance because I know if I wait too long, either I will miss it or I will be too tight. And I hate it. To give you an idea, I've already seen every movies next week. And later tonight, I will go see the Fall Guy again. And after seeing the Fall Guy, when I came back home, I will watch movies for the first week of June because this is how ready I want to be. So, like, The Man with the Golden Gun and The Spy Who Loved Me, I've seen these two like 2 weeks and a half ish ago. So, excuse me if I mixed up the Bond Girl. But yeah, the Bond Girl and The Spy Who Loved Me is actually either my favorite one or she's on par or right underneath the one in Live and Let Die. Because I do remember that girl Bond in Live and Let Die. That was really cool. Like, there were two girls in that movie, and I enjoyed both. But the one in The Spy Who Loved Me is hands down the best one. Hell, the one on Goldfinger was also very cool. The sniper girl that wanted to shoot at the villain, but she almost deleted Bond. That was a funny one. But yeah, the one from The Spy Who Loved Me, really cool character. Anyway, um, now the last issue I got with The Spy Who Loved Me, nobody can aim in the villain lair. So oh yeah, there was a big shootout with a bunch of people. Nobody can aim. It's only James Bond that goes through all of these people like no sweat, no issues. I get it. It's James Bond. He's cool. He is the GOAT. But to make everyone else so incompetent, it's bad. I'm sorry, it's bad. And maybe that's the point. Maybe that's a parody. Maybe I missed the point of the movie. But I hate it when people cannot freaking aim. Um. So yeah, I gotta say the action and music, just like any other Bond movie, they were really good. So now I'm into my likes because I already got rid of my dislikes. More entertaining action. The new villains were cool, so I guess there are more than one villains, and I enjoyed it. The fight was entertaining. Bond versus Mini Tugs was entertaining. The rival is entertaining. Um, I guess looking into the notes. Oh yeah, there was an helicopter scene in that one. That was a cool shenanigans there. But I guess I enjoyed the villain in that movie. It's in my notes. But I will be honest, 2 weeks later I didn't remember him that well, so I don't know. Um Bond versus the supporting villain. That was a cool thing. Um the action was entertaining, more cool one-liners. So I look into it. So by the end of the movie, the lair of the villain also blows up, and Bond escapes with the Bond girl. That was cool. The ending was probably the most memorable thing about this movie. Um, so sadly, I don't have much to say. I feel like most of these Bond movies, I will repeat myself a lot. Lucky me, lucky everyone. We don't cover James Bond every week. We will eventually finish the franchise. And we will eventually cover my favorite Bond movies. Well, I should say what should be my favorite, because on that rewatch marathon, I don't know if this will be the case anymore. But anyway, um, The Spy Who Loved Me, I will give a very fitting 7.5 out of 10. Um, and it's right above Honor's Secret Majesty service. So for those who are visual, I will share my letterbox right now so you guys can see um exactly how I scale the Bond movies so far. So in last place we got this one. I I wasn't the biggest fan of that one. I gotta say. I want to forget I've seen it. It's not bad, but I didn't enjoy it that much. Then we got The Spy Who Loved Me, followed by From Russia with Love. Goldfinger! That's a good one. I know a bunch of people liked it. I think even Gray kind of enjoyed it. I will need to rewatch that stream we did. You Only Live Twice. That one is goddamn problematic in 2024. So racist, like a lot of these Bond movies. But hey, you're entertaining movie. Um, The Man with the Golden Gun, the one we covered today, and Thunderball, which is higher. Diamonds Are Forever, Live and Let Die, and Doctor No. So when it comes to Bond Girl, Live and Let Die and The Spy Who Loved Me are top picks. They are the best chicks ever. So yeah, um, I enjoyed these Bond movies, and next week we will cover MCU. Tuesday we cover MCU shenanigans. I will try to get Chillmonger on if he is available, if he wants to be there. I will also try to get Rosales Comics. I enjoyed the past chats I had with both gentlemen, and maybe we will benefit from a call appearance next week. Maybe. I don't know. I hope so. Uh, Next Friday, that will be exciting. Um, that will be exciting because we talk about Bob Marley One Love. This movie gave me cancer, and this movie gave Cole cancer. And what else? What else? We cover another not great movie next week. Um, I blank on the name. I just blank on it. And the worst on that, I've seen it this week. um, so yeah, I blank on the second movie. Anyway, that's all for tonight. That was a very short stream, and I feel like most of the red blue, if we don't get guests, will look like that. L, because they won't have a 2-ish 3 minute thingy there. Maybe they will be even shorter, but that's fine. Um, who wants to sit through 4 hours? I know I would, but I'm alone in that boat. Anyway, um, that's it for now. I will timestamp everything right after the stream. And thank you for all of people lurking around, the ones that are on playback, the ones that like, the one that comments. Even if sometimes I find it a bit mean, but I did open the gate for being mean, so that's also on me. Anyway, um, as some kind of closing thing, I will apologize again that I went so public about stuff that should have remained behind the scene. So, yeah, we are out for now. And next week, we have 2 streams. I cannot wait for these two.